Hello guys, welcome back to the Debate Tot. I'm Grace and today we're gonna do a review of Only Murders in the Building Season 4, Episode 5 adaptation. So the trio face off and a collection of individuals who deceive, manipulate, and threaten as second nature a Hollywood cast and crew. So we're going to be looking about what we saw and our theories and thoughts at the end. Before I start though, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts and theories of the episode and what you think is going to happen in the next few episodes. I'm just gonna get started. So in last week's review, I mentioned that I had a feeling that Marshall could secretly be the killer. So I was quite surprised to see the episodes beginning with him putting up his fake mustache and beard. So if they're going to introduce him now, then he's probably not going to be the killer, maybe. We hear a small dialogue in the beginning about how hard it is for scriptwriters to be noticeable and get attention. Then we head straight to the cliffhanger from episode 4 last week, where Bev held a gun at the trio. But it turns out she's not the bad guy, as she said that someone from the movie may have killed Saz, which was probably what we were all thinking last week. We learned that Saz left her voicemail as she asked to talk to Bev about the podcast film. So I guess that Bev kind of feels guilty for not calling her back before she died. But what I still don't get is how Bev found Saz's academy. And I don't get why there was a real gun there in the first place. I mean, America does have a huge issue with selling guns and all that, but no one would leave a real gun in an empty shelter, right? Anyway, Saz said on a voicemail that there was a problem with the movie. We didn't get about what kind of problem she was talking about, if it was related to someone or something that was going to be included in the film. I was pleased to see Detective Donna Williams back again, and she's sort of working with the gang now, and to hear her sassy sense of humor is brilliant. She wasn't there for long, sadly, but she is going to test the gun for fingerprints, so that might lead us somewhere in the next episode or more. Meanwhile, Oliver learns that the arm that was hugging around Loretta on her Instagram was another actor slash former swimmer, Jack Jock, for a TV show. It did calm Oliver down a bit until Donna starts teasing him about how hot he is, big ass arms, big ass legs, big ass. You could probably guess what Donna was about to say after that. The trio get their checks from their film production, and Mabel wants to save her, and then she wonders about what she kind of does for a living to kind of earn this, which brings me up the question, what does Mabel kind of actually do, like for a full-time job? And where's she staying now? Because I remember in the last season, she was looking for a new apartment, and I can't remember what happened afterwards. Leave me a comment down below if you do remember, because my brain is a bit knackered. And it's the same for Howard, because I can't remember what he does for a living in the beginning, and he has been doing a few mini jobs now and then for the trio. Oliver and Charles title her as like the podcast producer, which makes proper sense for Mabel since she is a good producer and helps with the gang with the podcast, and she's great at solving crimes. The gang head up to the penthouse, and I think it is a penthouse because I can't remember the last time we saw it, but it does look very similar. We saw the sister directors, who I will be talking about later. Bev talks to Oliver about finding out about Jack Jock, and I feel so bad for Oliver. I mean, because he's stuck around listening to people about how Loretta might need a new hip replacement when she and Jack, hit that thing, and how Jack Jock is hotter, sexier, and bigger, which I can't lie, because after looking at that newspaper photo, I personally think they're all true. Don't judge me. Now, Oliver is acting insecure about Loretta not being attractive enough for her and like not being an attractive man anymore. But I do like how they are bringing up the topic of how men can be insecure about their bodies and not being good looking enough. We've all been there, and I know it's difficult to think otherwise when lots of people do judge you and your looks and your attractiveness. They made it a bit comedic when Oliver dressed up as a sportsman later in the episode, trying to relive the killer's movements. But it does leave a clear message to the audience that judging yourself and your body doesn't make the issue go away. It will only decrease your self-esteem and your character. But then it got even worse when Oliver meets Zach again in the later on and said that he knows Jack Jock, as Jock worked in a Snow White film production and managed to shag all the seven dwarfs, and making them say hi ho the whole way. I mean, okay, one thing for sure, the writers for this season and actually for the whole show have slid in some pretty dirty jokes, but you know what? They're pretty funny. Charles and Charles and Mabel start investigating new suspects, who are the film crew. It was funny and clever of how Charles managed to snap pics of the film crew while pretending to take a call. I find it weird if Charles did the same to me, like talking on the phone while trying to get very close to me. And it became funnier when Mabel pointed out that the camera was also the wrong way around. Charles warned Mabel to spot anyone suspicious, and then the attention shifts to Marshall, who was acting kind of weird. But he wasn't anxious because of the murder. He was worried that the trio might dislike or create lots of notes for his script, which sounds reasonable. Mabel gets dragged to the side by Bev, who just wants to have a small chat and mention about the check that the trio received earlier. Now, here's the thing I don't understand. I get that Mabel wants to sound confident in her future and what she wants to be. But I don't get is why she lied about finding new podcasts to produce. She could have just said that she's going to start a new business for herself. But I guess she didn't want anyone to give her doubts, which gives her some doubts too, making her think she can't be able to do this on her own. The conversation between them when Mabel lied about doing the podcast about people and buttons. I couldn't stand it. I really felt awkward at that moment. But I guess the ending was good when Bev offered to help, which might be a good stepping stone for Mabel's career. Charles and Oliver took Marshall down to the apartment where, surprise, surprise, Ben's stuntman, Glenn Stibbins, who I prefer as Irish Ben, waiting outside their door to drop off a gift for them after he got a role in their podcast film. It was funny when Irish Ben mistaken Marshall as Mabel with a beard. I don't know how or why he thought, but it was quite funny when he brought that up. And then what Oliver asked Irish Ben about his body style, Irish Ben compared him to Conor McGregor. I had to research who Conor was and discover he's an Irish boxer. Comparing that guy to Oliver, yeah, Irish Ben can be a wee bit crazy. They're starting interviewing Marshall, but Charles is just distracted by how well Marshall has written him in the script. Oliver, on the other hand, was completely the opposite. And to be honest, he does walk and move like he's like a tender dragon queen, or in Marshall's view, a Peter Pan and like light Tinkerbell. Charles explains to Marshall about their investigation so far, and here's where the show gets very creative. When it starts storytelling about the killer's movements, I love how they film the sequence in an action film style. Their frame rate changes, Charles acts like James Bond with the clothing, the cliches, even the background characters fit the style. Marshall points out that the timeline doesn't even work, and I will also talk about that later for the theories. Mabel finds out that the footprint on a tacky mat that we saw earlier at the penthouse is the same one that matches the footprint from the apartment, meaning that definitely one of the crewmates or actors is the killer. It was time for the photo shoot as the trio dress up in their first outfits from the pilot episode, giving me flashbacks to the very first episode and how far they've come from there to now. We see the movie actors coming in with the exact same outfits, and the next one I did not expect. Another trio, the stunt actors, came in with the same outfits. It's like having a trio of doppelgangers all in the same room. You don't see that every day. Helen and Ava started a little argument, but it was fake as they wanted to try to lay out more tacky mats on the floor so that most of the crew would try to step on them. Meanwhile, Charles brainstormed a theory after meeting with Eugene again, he realized that there may possibly be more than one killer. And this is exactly what I said before in episode 2 review, that there was definitely more than one killer. Charles and Mabel found the same footprint, and they follow up to that shoe, and the shoe belonged to one of the sister directors. And it gets better. We see the other sister lifting up Oliver during the shooting, so she is strong enough to lift up, I don't know, a dead body, maybe? So in theory in mind, one of the sisters did the shooting and the other one carried the corpse. Suddenly, one of the sisters disappeared, and when it seems like it was going to be the end of the episode, two very bad things happen in that moment. First, we hear the sound of gunshots firing in the room. Second, it went black. And that is a cliffhanger of episode 5. So for theories, I had some early suspicions for the sister directors because back in the penthouse, they were rolling out a large and thin suitcase that looked like it could be the right size to fit in a sniper gun. I was also thinking they could have used tacky mat during the murder, so they could use it to take off any dust or blood before or during Saz's murder. And it would have made a very good pair of killers, to be honest. But since we're already halfway through the season, I believe that these two creepies are probably not Sansa's killer. However, the footprint may belong to someone else. I mean, the sister directors can't be the only people who wear those kind of shoes. In last week's review, I had a theory that maybe Marshall could be the killer, but now I'm not too sure. However, I'm still going to keep a close eye on that fake bearded guy. I have a slight gut feeling that possibly one of the actors have done it as a twist, but I'm still lost in the mist, to be honest. It's quite hard because I'm trying to think about who else it could be. I know it must be someone who's quiet and kind of blends in the background so we don't really see them much. And I do think the killer or one of the killers could be a male for sure. I don't know why. I just feel like they're balancing out the genders. As I mentioned this a few weeks ago in one of the reviews, that the timing, like from racing from the west side to the east side of the building to cover the murder, is impossible. So they are definitely two people who murdered Saz. Moving away from the murder case, this isn't much of a theory, but more of a thought. So I was thinking if Mabel does want to become a professional podcast producer, then I could imagine she might get in a bit of competition with Sadie Canning because she might be around still, and if she hears that Mabel is producing her own podcast, that might set her off a bit. I think that Oliver might do something stupid out of jealousy and insecurity to get closer to Loretta. If he created like a fake Instagram before, and if he's becoming stressed about his girlfriend working with a very sexy actor, I have a bad feeling, and I won't be surprised if Oliver starts like a bit stalking or maybe trying to take a quick peep during Loretta's filming scenes, like just so he could just double check. But I really hope they don't do that, but bad things do happen. Meanwhile, Charles is still trying to find closure for Saz's murder. I do think that at the end of season 4, Charles will donate and try to help him rebuilding Saz's Paradise, the academy for stunt actors, which I think it would be really sweet and touching. So guys, that's the end of the review for season 4, episode 5 adaptation. So let's look about the next week's episode, season 4, episode 6, Blow Up. A documentary film is made by the Brother Sisters. So that's quite a short plot, so I'm not quite sure what to make up with that. So what I'm thinking now is that they're either gonna probably maybe learn more about the brothers' sisters. I'm gonna call them sister directors because it's a bit hard with brother and sisters. So we're gonna learn about the sisters, my background maybe. Perhaps they're gonna reveal a documentary they made, or maybe a documentary was made about them, or maybe they're creating like a B-roll behind the scenes documentary of the podcast film, because I remember there was a camera filming the trio and the actors doing the photo shoot, so that could be something. But other than that, I've got no theories today, guys, about who the killer could definitely be, but we'll just have to wait and see for the next one. I'm just can't believe we're halfway through now, and I feel like we had like it's been a roller coaster. Like I feel like we had nothing so far, then more, nothing, and more, and now we got something crazy happening in the end, and I don't know what to think right now. Hopefully no one got killed, or hurt. But yeah, oh God, it's gonna be a crazy roller coaster ride. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Before you leave though, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts and theories of the episode. Do you have any suspicions about who the killer might be? Was there anything in the episode that I might have missed? Or is there any theories about what you think is gonna happen to the killer and the trio? And don't forget to check out other reviews and reactions that we've done in the past. We've done reactions to Hollywood and not Hollywood, Bollywood, Mollywood, and Disney films. We've done reviews of like TV shows, films, pranks, games, the whole lot, guys. Check them out. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. If you do, we follow you back. That's a promise. And you can also check out our website that tells you information about the team and about some of the videos we've done in the past. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.